I would like to invite on stage Mr. Hussain Afeef, the president of MAHRP, to give us a closing keynote speech on leading with love at the workplace. Please give a big round of applause to Mr. Hussain Afeef.
Hi everyone, good evening. I repeat what I said yesterday, that out of many thousand audiences that I have visited and obviously been, this is one audience where it is so true that the energy never gets down. I mean, are you ready to continue this until 10 o'clock this evening? Yes. At least I heard yes. Well, we won't do that. First of all, welcome back, Vice President, for coming for our event as a closing chief guest, and also Dr. Mustafa Lutfi. And of course, there's a lot of people ask why we do what we do. I mean, shall we put a round of applause to our nation's first lady for being there, taking notes and learning and sharing. I mean, this is what we like to see. I thought that I want to do a closing note on something that I have been studying the last couple of months. Every year, for the past 5 years, every year, intentionally, I choose a topic to study. So in 2020, I chose human psychology and organizational psychology. So I went and met with authors. I went to universities. I mean, I studied and invested a lot of money so that I know what I'm speaking about. And this year, I'm studying about leadership lessons that you can learn from US presidents. Not all of them. Yeah. I don't know why you are laughing. I mean, they're all good, but there's some really amazing leaders. And in studying that, I learned something really amazing, which is about leading with love. I'm sure we all know the word love, right? Yeah. And sometimes we as HR professionals and people leaders, when someone says, lead with love, and you say, well, what do you mean? Because there's different meanings of love. And as I was studying, I came across 7 different ways you can define love in the Greek language. There's one which is called agape, which means you love your people unconditionally. You love your people selflessly. You love your people not because they're going to do something for you, but because you have been given the opportunity to look after them. I'd like to share 5 points that you can take back and teach to your colleagues and your team. Are you ready to write those 5 points? Yeah, ask the person next to you, are you ready? Very good. Number 1 is something that you have already heard during the session where some of the speakers spoke, is the humility to continuously learn. Humility to continuously learn. There was a book that was written by the world's top university professor, Adam Grant. Some of you may have read he's one of the best professors in this topic. And when I was studying psychology, this was sort of the mentor that I used to learn online. And he wrote a book called Think Again. Everything that we have shared with you yesterday and today and all these keynote speeches and everything is not to change your beliefs. It's to evolve your beliefs. Every speaker who spoke here did not say this for you to go and say, go back to work, tomorrow is Monday, right? Yeah, and say, ta-da, I got a moment to share with you. I have something to share. It's not to challenge your people and to change, but the idea would be to use what you have learned and studied in the last 2 days and to see if you can challenge to think, let them think about those topics too, and take them on a journey with you. Because that is really the purpose of this sessions that we did. And most importantly for you to think and think again and rethink. Are we doing the right thing every single day so that our people come to work? Because here's the thing. my team is here. I mean, they're all around here because I brought my team, and it's quite a new team, so I want them to experience this whole conference. Now, many of you know here, you have committed for the last 2 days. Did your office open today on time? Yeah, very good. Did your team did what they were supposed to do? Very good. So can we have a third day of the conference? You know my point, right? The point is that we can't do this without them. You can do this only if you're a leader that is humble enough to learn and go back and challenge your team. Now, I saw many of you took notes here, almost everyone. Raise your hand if you took notes. Very good. I want to give you 30 seconds. Would you please show to the person next to you your notes? Here's my notes here. I mean, it could be on a digital, your device. It could be in writing, and then that's fine. All right, number two, lesson number 2 is to lead with love. You have to check in on your people. You have to keep people as the reason why you even exist. I work with a leader. His name is Dominic Rule, and he does not work with me anymore. He just recently retired. He was the chief operating officer with the company that I work. And one day, we had a fire incident, and I was in charge of the resort. I was looking after everything. At the time, we did not have a general manager, so usually I am the one who step in and do what is needed. And he was the first one who called me because I texted him and I said that we have a fire. It seems that we can control it. Don't worry, I will call you when this is over. He messaged me and said, are you sure? I said, yeah. Well, I'll call you in a few minutes. Because, he's in Mauritius. They can't just come like this. So we better look after it. So the fire was controlled. Everything is in order. And by the way, this was during the time when we were closed during the pandemic. So there weren't many people on the island. He called me and said, Afeef, did anyone got hurt? That was the first question. He did not ask me how many rooms burned down, which restaurant, where did it happen. The first thing was, did anyone got hurt? And I said to myself, no wonder why that I have become so good in leading and the journey is difficult because I have been working with the leader for 10 years. Right? Now, I am not judging here anyone saying, depending on you could ask, but the thing is because when your core is leading people, that's the first question you ask. And then we had an outbreak. That was in March 2021, as many of you know. The Maldives opened very early, and we were the leading nation to show the world that how a pandemic should be handled, by the way, because there was no manual. So we opened on July 14th and 15th, and we continued. And we had an outbreak. We were full, 450 guests, 600 team members. We had to close the resort. We had to isolate everyone. And there's a huge outbreak. And every day morning, I would get a call from this leader, Dominic Rule, 8 o'clock. Because he was in Mauritius and he could not fly here. The first question he'll ask is, how is everybody doing? Because by the time we had 130 team members positive with, obviously with the COVID, and there was quite a situation we had. And every day he asked me that. So the second question is, what do you need from me today so that you can look after those people? That's it. Just think about that, right? This is an example of how we should be leading. Because he did not ask me, and by the way, if I have to give you a number, about $6 million we lost in 45 days because we had to close the resort for the second time. But the value of those people is more than 6 million because if we were operating and running, we will make money. But you won't, if you don't value people, and tomorrow if they are gone, you're overrelating valuing your people. You have to find time every single day to love your people. And loving your people requires not just to tell them that you love them. It's about show it to them. Check on them. How many of you here, when your colleagues get sick, take the time to call them and check on them. How many of you do that? Please raise your hand. Very good. I think we have the right people in the room then. I'm talking about those who are not here maybe. Right? Because all of you raise your hand, which is very good. Because in some companies here in this country and around the world, what happens is, don't worry, HR will do the job. You see, the message that MAHRP would like to share with all of you, and I wanted to share this to all of you, is that we want every single one to be a person that can manage and look after people. Because here's how it works. When you come, when an employee goes to the human resource department, and to you as a manager and say, I need an emergency leave. I mean, this is a very simple and typical example of how it operates in most organizations. As a manager, you would say, because that is in the operating system, you would say, please go to HR. Okay. And you go to the human resource department, and then the process and the struggle, and by the time the colleague, and you didn't even follow up. Anyhow, the colleague went on leave and he came back and you didn't even follow up. Every time you tell as a manager, every time you tell them, go to him, go to them, follow them, it just shows that, and this is not what I'm saying, by the way, this is what research shows, that it shows you have no love inside you for your people. Because I can tell you, I love all of you. It doesn't mean anything if I can't show it to you. This is the reason why, how many of you raise your hand that you have heard my voice, so I spoke to you before you came to this conference? 80% of you. Because it matters to me. I just signed 350 certificates, and every time I sign them, I pray to all of you that you will be a better leader. I did that. Yeah, give me a round of applause. Yes. Yeah. I also need motivation, So, yeah. And I did. In fact, my colleague was asking. I said, no, I want to sign them because the night before, this is a true story. The night before this event, we came over here. My colleague down there, Ali Adam, who is the general secretary of MAHRP and one of the co-founder, together with Ahmad, they founded this NGO. He physically went and touched every single chair. Who said why? Yeah, good question, right? Yeah, because we wanted to make sure that every single chair is perfect, it's okay, it's all right, because we want to check the quality. Believe me, we did that. And we came into this room, we prayed that good things are going to happen here, good things are going to happen to the people who will come to this room, because we love all of you. And I mean this from my heart on behalf of the executive committee. Because that's what love is all about. And the third thing is doing things selflessly, not wanting the same thing back from the other person. You see, we in MAHRP, we are doing this because we see a need in this country. Like Vice President said during the inaugural ceremony yesterday, that the best investment that you can make to any organization or institution is the investment in people, which is very true, and the research shows, even years ago, the research agrees with the same statement, right? And hence the reason why that we're doing this and we're wasting our time, because we see a need in this country. We see a need whereby if we can do this and we can change the way you think and evolve, and what motivates us as an NGO and why we want to give you more love and more love is, in this audience, there are 50%, I believe, are new for the first time to this conference, right? Yeah? Raise your hand if you're new. Very good. Yeah, almost 60%. Raise your hand if you have been a second time. Very good. Raise your hand if you will come back to our next conference. Conference is sold out. Yeah. All right. So, so do things as leaders, not because you're going to get a promotion or a reward or anything. The last 2 years has been the best 2 years in my life in leading. Professionally with my team, because we had an opportunity whereby right before into the pandemic, the general manager left the resort, and I have to look after and make decisions with the team that was based in Mauritius. And I am humbled that my team trusted me to do that. And I had to make decisions from every single aspect. And I am, obviously, by profession, most of my years been in human resource profession. But why I was able to do that is because the day that when they told me, Afeef, you will be in charge, I said to myself, I'm going to do this not wanting anything in return. I will do this for my people. Because if I do this for my people will love me, and my people are going to be there for me. So regardless of where I am in the world, I have colleagues which any moment I've texted them and asked them to do a task, whatever, how bigger it is, it will get done. And you know what? I have never had a coffee with any of those employees in the last 2 years. You know why? Because sometimes we think, as leaders, it's about taking them for coffee and team building. No, no, no. You can do everyday team building activity, but there may not be any teamwork in your team. Team building involves good food, right? And fun and activities, and maybe a bit of trainer comes, and no. And the same thing with all of you here today, because the moment that we leave this conference today, I'm sure all of you are motivated, excited, and say, I'm going to change the world, which I'm sure you will. But it has nothing to do with what you do tomorrow when you return to office. Because your colleagues, how was the conference? Oh, it was amazing and fun and enjoyed. I took pictures. Amazing. But what matters is the action that you do, so that not, you don't do things that not because you will get something in return. And this is really what we need to focus on. So I want everybody to take a moment now to share with the person next to you, what is one action that you will take from tomorrow onwards based on what you have learned from this conference? So it's about, let's say, 30-second conversation with the person next to you, please. A 30-second conversation. Yeah. What is one action you will take, you will do? Yeah. All right, number four, be a leader that is reachable. Be a leader that your people don't have to make appointments to see you. I know we always say open door policy. Forget about the open door. It's not about the, I mean, we as managers, we need space where we're in and we do the work. It's not about that. It's an example like this. I am proud of this and with the team and the work we did. So in March 2020, as Maldives went into a lockdown and the border closed, we sent all our colleagues to home and 600. And I was the main point of contact. And I knew how the world was operating at that time. I mean, there's, you go to the airport, the flights get canceled, everybody gets stuck. There was one thing I did, which I thought was quite incredible, and I wanted to share this with all of you. I was in touch with every single team member from the moment they left the resort until they reach home, and until I am 100% sure that they are in their home. Now you will ask me, how do you do that? I just did it. You know the outcome of it? When we reopened, and when we made the decision to reopen on 14th of August, which was approximately after a month of Maldives reopening, 20 days before, I informed everybody we are opening and we need all of you to be back to work. Every single team member came back to work on time. Yeah, please give a round of applause. And you know why they came back? Because I was in touch with them, and I became the focal point, and I said to them that anything you need, here's my number. You can call me. The problem is most of us here and around the world, research shows that we think that when we tell them that you can give our number and approach them, by the way, I'm not encouraging all of you to give your number to your employees. It's your choice. Everything we do is by choice. Remember that, right? The outcome, you handle that, how it goes. Because if you give your number, you better respond then. Right? So I gave the number, and I was confident that I can handle this. And when they and this is out of 600 employees, in 6 months, I only got about 20 messages. Because we think that they're all going to call and we can't sleep. I don't remember in 3 months or 6 months when we were closed, not a single call after midnight. because your team loves you. You just don't know that. They respect you. They're not going to call you at 12 o'clock in the morning. They may send you a message. We had employees based in 40 different countries. That is what I'm talking about here. Be reachable. Ask a question to yourself. How reachable are you to your people? Because they are the reason. I mean, I shared this in this audience, I think on 27th of December, there was a conference and I did a speech and I shared this. We have a job because of... Who said the company? You are invited free of charge for our next convention. We have a job because of... Come on. Because of Afeef? No, we have a job because of people. Come on, say that everybody. 1, 2, 3, go. We have a job because of people. Exactly. Remember that every single day I wake up and I remind this to myself. I have a job because of people. 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 And every day you remind it, what happens to you? There's something that grows inside you, right? But I do have a standard. Those who walk with me are in this room. They know what I mean. I have zero tolerance towards those who do not behave and who may not have any discipline. Remember this? If you have no discipline, your skill and competencies have no value. Number 2, respect. If you cannot respect the team and the people who works with you, if you work with me, or I suppose with a leader problem, I guess this is a universal standard, but sometimes we do tend to trade this off. I will have no mercy. Because we as professionals and everyone in our company and the team, we need to develop that character. We need to help them to build that. Number 1 is discipline. So as much as I love my people, if they do something wrong, I will guide them and I will coach them. And I have a standard which is not to let anyone go because of a performance issue. Let people move on, maybe because they may not be able or they don't want to change their behaviors or they don't have the discipline that your company wants. And that is a good trade-off to do because you want to create a team with good discipline. Right? Now take a deep breath, everyone. When was the last time that you actually had a conversation with your team member and you told them how much they mean to your team? How much they mean to you. When was the last time and by the way, I'm not talking about sending a text message. I know we all do that all the time, right? In social platform, companies, they have platforms. But when was the last time you took someone and said, look, I really like what you are doing. And you add so much value to our company. When was the last time you did that? It's a 30-second conversation. Talk to the person next to you, please. Ready, go. All right, last one. Bring your people with you. What I mean is we're on a journey. In this journey as wanting to get or be better leaders, there is no finish line. In the race of excellence, there is no finish line. So you got to keep going. But you have to bring your people with you. This is the reason why I brought my team here. And in my team, I have about 10 of them. And only one is best at the organization now for these 2-3 days because he attended the previous conference. So I said you should be there, and I will take the people because I want them to see this. And for all of them, it's their first time they see a conference and event like this. And it's not just it's not just about bringing them for conference. It's about finding the opportunities of what they want and who they want to become and give them the opportunity. And now my standard of retention and my view and how I see this have completely changed. Because you see, I am not going to ask anyone in my team to stay with me if they find something better in another company. There are many who have worked with me in this room in higher positions. One of them is Maisha. I had the opportunity to hire Maisha as an intern from, I think, a couple of years ago. And she worked with me, and it's fantastic. And then she wanted to, move to Mali. A great value to my team. It was sort of a disappointing moment for me that she wanted to go. But she wanted to be based in Mali. Now she works as an L&D manager in MSCL, I believe, right? Yeah, and she's also an MC for that. Let's give her a round of applause, please. Yeah. MC of today, by the way. And our other MC was Aisha Sheila. Let's give Aisha also a round of applause. Yeah. Because otherwise later she will ask me. So, and when Maisha wanted to leave, I said, should I say yes? Because she said to me, if you really want me to stay, I will stay. But I was thinking that, look, it's not about me. It's about the future of Maisha. Maybe that's what she wanted to do. And I told her, Maisha, I will be happy wherever you are if that makes you happy. And she's today working in L&D, and I see all her photos that she does training, and every time I see the photo, and it could be one day I'm running, I target to run 5 kilometers, and I see this photo on my watch, and I go, okay, I will do 6K today. That motivates me, right? And so there's a lot of things, but what I really want everybody to think about this is that we have to create love at workplace. And love is all about creating this culture where people come to work feeling this. Not they want to come to work because of the name of the institution or the board they see or the building they see. They go to work because they want to work with you. Imagine a world where people come to work because they want to be with you, they want to work under you. How would you feel? Come on, how would you feel? Yeah, well, don't tell me, tell to the person next to you. Explain them how would you feel. Right? I mean, you will feel excited, and that's a feeling you will get, because when you started feeling like this, that's when you realize there is love. And I want you to understand this, and every day make a commitment to these 3 things. Number 1, unconditionally love your people. Check on them. Focus on them. See where they are. Greet them. Number 2, every day find ways to add value to your people. Add value is not just about thanking them. It could go beyond, like, see what trainings are happening, send them. Find moments to develop them whereby you have conversations that can really develop them, right? Stick them with a coach so they can help them. There's a program happening, send them there or take them with you. There's many different ways you can add value. And the third thing is believe in your people. Believe them that they can do it, they will do it, and give them the time. For example, I happen to be someone, if I go back 5 years ago, I would think that if I leave the organization on a holiday, that it will stop working. The last 3 days, I did not check my email, office email, a single time. Because my colleague there, Siraj, who's the HR manager, I know he will do it. I know that. Right? I know he will keep everything in control so that I can totally focus on loving all of you here. And that is what you call believing in people. Right? Because in fact, I called him yesterday just, to have a little bit of chat and say, oh, don't worry, Afeef. You in the conference, don't worry, everything is fine and everything is fine. And I know why he say that. Obviously, there will always be things happening. But he really wanted me to also make him believe that he can do this job. Right? And I totally believe him. And Siraj is an HR manager that I hired with 0 experience as an HR manager. 0 experience. There are people who work with Siraj in this room. He was L&D background, but meaning he never handled the HR administration and the rest of the HR stuff, right? But I believe that if I give him the chance, he will do it. And I know 100% he will do that, right? What is the number 1? Unconditionally love your people. And, tell them. Some of you may say, if I tell them, I love you, they'll say, oh. They will go like, uh, well, it could happen like this. You know what will happen? You say that and they won't know what to say and they will just, thank you. They will go back and call someone and say, hey, look, something weird really happened. My boss told me that he loves me. And then the other person will say, oh, that is weird. Yeah, exactly. Then it will come into a situation whereby the employee will go to the HR department. You cannot create love and love language unless there's a culture in the organization. So where there is such culture, you can do that. So please don't go to office tomorrow and just say, I love you. I mean, we as human beings, we should love each other for sure. We should love each other. That's the reason why my last comment here that I wanted to make is that the community that we live in, not just here, around the world, there's a lot of negativity around. There is, and there will always be. That's actually the news that I want to give you. It will be. So how do we get along, right? In the work that we do by MAHRP, some of the other professional works that I do and some of the works that my colleagues and my team, they do, of course, there is a level of comments, criticism, right? Sometimes comments that one may feel demotivated. And I've been doing this for a while, by the way, not just here, in many countries. And one thing that I learned in the last few years that kept me going was we need to take control of our mind. Because imagine if today you went for a training program and you posted a photo of saying, what a great conference by MAHRP. And someone in your network says, oh, meh. And says, okay, what did you learn from it? Maybe they did it for money. Right? There will be comments like that. Right? And then you get engaged with that. And you write a comment and then the thread goes like that and it's such a negativity. Can I tell you something? I do get a lot of negative comments and attacks and comments. Every time when someone writes something negative, I pray that they will do always better than me. I never comment back and say something that will put them down, even though if they say things that will put me down. So if you ask me, what is one thing that helps you to do what you do every day? That is one thing. There will always be people like that. You cannot stop that. And that is quite a power that if you can take that. In 2019, we brought a speaker to the Maldives called Robin Banks. And if you have been to that, you remember the mind power story, right? If you can control of what you will react and what you won't react, that is really where the real power of everything that you do is. You can tell me any negative comments that you want. I will listen to it. If that applies to me, I will think about it and I will change, right? Or I will see how we can change. If it doesn't apply, I just let it go. I just let it go. Because those things will come, right? Remember, feedback is not a right. It's a gift. When someone says something to you, think about it. But don't take it personally. The problem is the moment you comment and try to defend, you have taken it personally. Don't say, oh, no, I just wrote it. I didn't take it personally. You already did. Don't even engage. Because when you engage, the thread goes in, right? Yeah. Because you see, regardless of negative comments, the most important thing is the peace. That you want to have a good night's sleep. To have the good night's sleep, you need to do that. As I close these remarks, I would like to encourage all of you to go back to work and find ways of how you can love your people. There is nothing better than loving your people. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Turn to the person next to you and say, there's nothing better than loving your people. Tell them, come on. Yeah. right, with that, I would like to hand over to our MC to take the rest of the closing ceremony events. Once again, thank you, Vice President, for your time and all the dignitaries for being here today. And this is what helps us to do what we do best. Thank you once again. Yeah, let's give the Vice President and the team a round of applause.
Thank you, Afeef. And Avi, would you mind joining me on stage? We have a little message for
Afeef.
Afeef, yes.
Well,
So can everyone stand up for a moment?
do you know the Beatles song, All You Need Is Love? Let's sing it to a person that without him, this would never happen. To Afeef, together. All you need is love, da 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 da. All you need is love, da 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 da. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. Thank you, Afeef.
Thank you, Avi.